This movie and review is sponsored by Lucky Strike cigarettes. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. So Lucky Strike was directed by Rod Lurie and is a World War II film inspired by true events. It takes place during the Battle of the Bulge and is about a soldier whose entire squad is wiped out, and he must hike over 30 kilometers to get evacuated. World War II films have been out of favor for a long time now and aren't really being done that much anymore. I think that it is because there are so many films about that war. I don't know if there is much more territory that can be explored, but Lucky Strike is going to try. The visuals in this film are really well done. It seems that the explosions and many of the action sequences were done practically with minimal CGI, if any at all. I'm not an elitist of CGI, but I felt and saw the weight of everything in the environment, from the airplanes to the tanks and guns, all of it. All of it felt authentic and gritty, so if there is CGI, it didn't stick out to me. This is a nice looking movie. There are bookends to this picture where our main character visits a woman who worked for the military. He visits her and we then flash back to the main story. Then we come back at the end where it all wraps together. It's strange to me that these bookends are in this film at all, since they really don't serve any purpose to the story except for having some kind of weird sentimentality regarding what kept our hero alive during his adventure. So that's the thing with this film for me. Since there are those bookends followed by flashbacks, we know that the main character is safe, and that drowns out the stakes. The journey he goes on may have been heroic, but the picture puts the cart before the horse and spoils itself for reasons I do not understand. Since the main character is played by Scott Eastwood, son of the legendary Clint Eastwood, the comparisons are a little inevitable. Eastwood does a good job in the role. His men are wiped out pretty early on, so there are long sections of the film where he doesn't interact with anyone at all. It relies on the facial acting, and like his dad, he is able to give looks that sell the emotion he is feeling. Because of the familial connection, the whole time I was watching Lucky Strike, I was thinking about Clint's film Heartbreak Ridge. The story with that film was different, but the moods were very similar, and they both are World War II films. And while Heartbreak Ridge is nowhere near a great movie, it was acceptable for the time and is better than this film is, quite frankly. The first scene of the picture has a squad having their truck broke down. They are then later gunned down by Nazis. Everyone in this truck was African American. I don't know how well that is going to sit with certain people, but I was willing to accept it as is if it meant anything. The lady the main character visits in the opening sequence is played by Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor, who is great in exhibiting forgiveness from a few years ago as the mom. So I initially thought he was visiting her because one of the men of this squad was like her son or something, but nope. Later in the film, our hero finds this truck and one of the men has survived. After some kind of bullshit motivational speech, the survivor just dies. It's supposed to come off as heartbreaking, and it did for me, but not for the reasons the film wanted it to. I felt just gross and weird watching these segments of the film. Once his squad is wiped out and he is on the road to rescue, the film becomes segmented into scenes that have no narrative thread line to them. There's a sequence where our main guy hides out at a French family's home, and everything that happens there felt like merely a set piece instead of it feeling like a living and breathing part of the world. And the climax of that segment reminded me of the ripoffs of films like Rambo, and not in a good way. It made it feel out of place with a serious war drama when Nazis are being blown away like I'm watching a bootleg action film. It's strange. The best scene for me is when he has to hide in a gravesite. It was tense, well shot, well acted, and had a proper amount of suspense, until I remembered the beginning spoiled it, so it ruined the stakes for me. I guess if people are able to enjoy the feats this man goes through to get home even though they know the outcome, then please go nuts, because it sure didn't do it for me. We then have like 5 other long and drawn out scenes that feel detached from each other, just like the rest of the film does. The whole time I was watching this movie, I felt like each scene was a level in a Call of Duty game. Then move on to the next one without giving emotional weight to what transpired before it, just like the Call of Duty series has done on the whole. Then we get a meeting between our main character and another guy in a nighttime sequence near the end of the film, and that's when we understand why this film is called Lucky Strike. I thought I was making a joke at the beginning of the video when I said that this film was sponsored by Lucky Strike, but that is literally the punchline of how our hero survives his last trial in the film, something to do with Lucky Strike cigarettes. Personally, I gave up on the film after that. I'm not against war films. I think 1917 was really good. Apocalypse Now is one of my favorite movies of all time. And there are a ton of World War II films from back in the day that I personally love. But this one feels like it was made with no intention except the physical look. It adds nothing to the cinematic language of film, and has nothing to say about the Battle of the Bulge that the documentary called The Battle of the Bulge doesn't tell you already. So yeah, I can't recommend this movie. It has a great look and a few really good scenes, but it feels so fragmented and disjointed, it left me frustrated. Let me not even get into how stupid the Lucky Strike cigarette being the savior is, as well as this whole story was apparently told because a radio didn't break. What a weird movie. I give Lucky Strike copyright trademark 2 stars. If nothing else, I think this film is just boring. I'm sure junkies of horror films are probably going to love it. I'm probably not the demographic for this film, but I can think of at least 20 World War II films that are better than this. Go watch those instead of this mediocre snorefest. And that is my review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, please like and subscribe. Here's links to my other videos. Follow me on social media if you like. And until next time, I am Ghost.